Hello everyone, it's Valerie from Stampin' with Valerie, and today we are going to use a couple of stamp sets and a couple of different kinds of designer series paper to make a super cute scrapbook page. Now I want to use the new Notes of Nature stamp set. I just want to use a couple of them to add some interesting stamps to the background. And then we're going to use Notes of Nature dies. We're going to use this one here. This one is fantastic, and I'll show you that in just a moment. I'm going to set the other ones aside because I don't think we're going to use any of those, but you never know. And I want to use this stamp set, Love This Moment, because I want to use this for some journaling, and I think this is perfect for that. So let's set the stamp sets aside for just a moment. And as you can see, I've already been doing stuff on this paper earlier. Not to do with this scrapbook page, but working on another one. And I've got a couple of stamps ready that I want to use. Let's set this die over here for now. Now, the first sheet of paper that I want to use for my background is this wood plank paper. And this is from some old paper that Stampin' Up! Used to sell called In Good Taste. But I still have plenty of this paper, so I'm going to use it. You can always find this paper like in Michael's, you know, not this exact paper, but something similar. Now the back of this is like some tiles, but I really love the wood pattern, and it's going to go perfect with the other paper that we're going to use, which is called Nature's Sweetness, which goes with the Notes of Nature stamp set. And it's got all kinds of fun little designs. It's got a crosshatch. It's got, let me grab these papers. It's got some gold in there. And these are not all of the papers, but these are just some of them. And then I've already cut out with this die, this piece here, which this is 4 inches wide by 12 inches long, but we're not going to use this entire thing. We're going to rip this off. But I just wanted to show you how I did this. I just lined the die up and made sure it didn't go all the way down. But I'm going to really quickly grab my die cut machine and some white paper, and I will just show you exactly what this looks like. It'll give you a better idea, only because it's hard to see the little perforated marks on the other paper that I cut, and I want you to see this. So this is just 6 inches. This die is 6 inches long. If I can get that paper to move. And I'm just going to put it right on the edge of that paper. So when I get it on there, I want to make sure I tape it down to keep it in place. Right at the edge of the paper. And I probably should have got more of that tape onto the paper, but that's all right. And that's the Post-it labeling and cover-up tape. Because it's nice because it comes off really easy. And I think I've shown you that in another video, but I figured I would just show you again. Of course, easier to hold this down if I'm standing up. We can get that out of our way because we aren't going to use that again, most likely. We'll see. We might get a chance to use it and maybe cut some other things out. Look at that. Isn't that fantastic how it cuts out those perforations? I think those are great. And then if you wanted to, you don't have to, and I'm not going to do this on this, but you could bend these and then rip it off. So it looks like you've torn the page out of a notebook, but I'm not going to do that with ours today. Let me just put this die over to the side. And let's take this piece of paper and let's just rip some off the bottom because it's obviously too long unless I lay this straight, and I want to put it on an angle on my page. So we're just going to roughly rip it off. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then you've got another piece that you can use for something else if you want to. And then I'm going to adhere that down really quick. Look at the design on the back of that. That's super pretty with that gold. And I'm not going to use a ton of adhesive, only because you don't need to go down the entire side of this because it's going to be in an album. It's going to be protected. As long as you've got it to stay down, you're good. And then I want to stamp on that. I know it's already got quite a bit of design on it, but I want to stamp this field notes on there, and I'll just do that in some black memento. Make sure I get it coated. I always think I'm not getting enough ink on the center of the stamp, but those letters are even lighter there, so I don't think it's me. I think it's just the stamp set, or the stamp itself, I should say. And so then we've got that little field notes that you can see there. It's not like popping out like crazy, but it's there, and I like it. And then let's take this crosshatch. Let's do a little crosshatch down here, kind of half on, half off. We'll add some to the side over here. Maybe up in the corner. We're going to have some other elements here, so I'm not going to do the entire page. And then we could do some down here, coming off that edge. And then maybe coming in over here. And then if we decide to add more later, we can after we get everything else on here. I'm not sure if I'm going to do any of these little splatter dots yet, but we'll keep it handy just in case. I'm going to grab the photos just so you can see what I'm working with. Now, I always put like a layered background, and I usually do black, but it just depends on the page I'm doing. But my photos are 3.5 by 3.5, so I've only made this 3 5/8 the black background, so there will be just barely a border around the edge, just enough to frame them out a little bit. And I'll just put a little bit of adhesive on each corner and then line these up. And now these photos, and you'll probably laugh because I am so far behind on my scrapbooking, are from 2006. So, whoops, a little squeaky there. But I feel like I'm getting caught up, and that's kind of sad because that was a long time ago. But I feel like, hey, I'm getting there. I'm getting things organized, and I'm getting things going again, because there was a long break of me not doing any scrapbooking. So I've got my 3 photos, and I want to show you these circle dies that I got. These are just from Amazon. I just put in large circle dies, and I think it's a set of 12, and these all come apart. Each one of these little rings is a die, but I used the largest one, and it's 5 3/4 by 5 3/4, and it has that stitching around the edge, stitching, perforation, whatever you want to call it, around the edge. And I used some of that Nature's Sweetness designer series paper, and I cut out a circle in that crosshatch pattern. One with the floral pattern. The back of that is like newspaper print. The back of this one is basically this same print here, but just in gold and white. And then I cut out a vellum circle. I love to use vellum as an element on pages and cards and different things like that. And I think what I'm going to do is, I should not have stuck this entire side down. So let me just use this to lift that up a little bit, because I want to slide this circle underneath there, I think, a little bit. When I was just looking at that, I'm like, I don't want all the circles on top. I kind of want this one to go under. And again, we'll just use a little bit around the edges. As long as you have enough to hold it down, you shouldn't have to worry about it. Just pop that up again right there on that little section. And now I'm sticking this one down already. There we go. I say there we go as it's not sliding in. But there. Now it's in there. Perfect. And I'm going to have a photos and stuff here, so that'll hold that little piece down that I just kind of lifted up. And then I think I want to do this floral one over on this side, but down just a little bit. And then let's see how, I mean, we can layer this vellum one kind of right there, maybe. I think that looks kind of cute. But what I like about using the vellum is you still get to see your patterned paper through it, but it still gives it a little something. I'm going to bring this circle all the way to the edge of the paper there. And then for the vellum, I'm really going to barely use any adhesive on that. I mean, even though it really won't show through too much, I'm just going to use 4 little pieces of adhesive there. And we're kind of over top of, we actually are over top of that crosshatch that I stamped, but we're right next to this other one. So I think that looks pretty good. And then let's just kind of lay our photos out and just see kind of where we'll put them. Now, like I said, I do want to stamp this here for journaling, but I don't want to journal on the vellum for sure. And I don't know if journaling on here would work, or even on here because my lettering wouldn't show through, but maybe on some of the wood grain, maybe like right here on the wood grain, that would be a good spot to put this for journaling. So I'm just going to set the stamp there. I'm not going to stamp it yet until I make that final decision. And so I do kind of like the way these are just kind of spread out and not exactly straight. Like this one's kind of straight, but these both are kind of on an angle. I think that looks cute. And then do I want to add smile anywhere on here? Because it's got this great stamp that says smile. We can add that up here maybe. Well, I don't want to really do it on here because I already stamped that. Let's just set that there for now and make a decision as we go, because I am famous for starting something like that and then going back and putting a piece of paper over it because I decided it's not what I want. Now I'm going to show you how I fussy cut, because I'm going to have some fussy cut elements from this paper as well, just to add some interest, because I love this print and it will add something to our paper. So when I fussy cut, I'm going to move this over just a little bit so maybe I don't drop all of my pieces on it. I move my paper more than I move my scissors. It just makes it smoother, especially if you're going around curvy areas and things like this, like leaves and things. It's easier to move the paper than it is your scissors. Because when you move just your scissors, you kind of get choppy, if that makes sense. And you'll end up with more sharp angles than the rounded angles. So just try to practice it if you like to fussy cut, or I guess if you don't and you want to get better at it, just practice it and see how it works for you. It's just a technique that I like to do, but not everybody does it. So you decide if it's right for you and you want to try it. Now in the dies, there are some dies that cut out the stamped image of these leaves, but it is just a little bit bigger than these, so that's why I decided to do fussy cutting. Now I know there is another set of dies that goes with this Notes of Nature and Nature Sweetness paper, because there's another stamp set that I don't have as well. And maybe there's dies in there, I'm not positive because I didn't buy those ones. But look at that, how cute is that? And then we can use that to add some dimension to our page with some foam dimensionals or foam dots or whatever you have if you're going to do a page similar to this with this paper. Now I took some time earlier and I just cut out some of these. So I'm just going to sort these out a little bit. Like I even got one of the bigger ones. I think it's super pretty. And it will be great on here. I got a couple of the flowers. I've got a couple of these little ones that I love. So let's start by first getting these photos stuck down so we know exactly where we want to put our extra little elements. I'll do that one kind of on an angle there. Basically gonna put them right where we've got them right now, just move them around and my stamp stuck to my photo now. That one on a little more of an angle this way, I think. And then we'll try to keep this one on the bottom kind of straight. I say kinda, just in case I get it crooked, you won't judge me, right? Be like, she said she was gonna put that straight, and it is not straight. All right, there we go, perfect. We'll grab some dimensionals and we'll start layering some of these. So, like I said, I am super far behind on my scrapbooking. Are you as far behind as I am? I mean, I've joined a couple of groups on Facebook and I just see everyone's beautiful work, and it's so inspiring to watch, to see other people's work and watch their videos too, and just see what they've used and what they've come up with. And I'm a little jealous when they're like, they're on this year, they're on 2024, and I'm like, guess I should have kept up with doing my scrapbooking. But that's all right. Life takes over sometimes and you get behind, which is exactly what has happened to me. Whoop, we got a backing there. We don't want to stick that on our page. Kind of bring that poking out a little bit there. I think that looks cute. Maybe I'll do one of these by each of the photos, so it's kind of gives it some symmetry, I guess I would say. And then right here, this little one, I cut this out and I thought I would pop that one up right there because I thought it looked really cute, and it gives some extra dimension to this die cut circle piece too, which I think is fantastic. Get those backings off. Maybe I need one right there. It's kind of gonna squish down if I don't get a foam dimensional there. And it might be hard to see on camera, but that looks really good like that. Let's flip these two over and get some dimensionals on the back of those. I can say I really am enjoying this Notes of Nature set. I don't know what the name of the suite is, but it has something to do with Notes of Nature. Because like I said, there's 2 stamp sets, there's 2 die sets. And I wasn't sure if I would like the paper, but I really do love the paper. And the reason I say that is just because it's all neutrals and then with the gold, and I wasn't sure. Sometimes I want a little more color in my paper, but this is actually perfect. And the colors that are in this is Pebbled Path. And then, let me see what it says the other colors are that are in the paper. Pebbled Path, Pecan Pie, and Gold. And I'll show you the Pecan Pie here in just a second. We'll put this one up here. Like that looks kind of good. And then we'll go to the bottom left for this one over on this picture. I think that's starting to come together really good. Let me find that Pecan Pie just to show you so you can see it. I think it's on the back of this one. Oh yes, there's the Pecan Pie color. So that's the other color that's in here. So I guess you could kind of almost call it, it's almost like a matte copper, I guess. At least that's what I would call it. All right, let's add some of these little flowers like I did with this picture to the other 2. And I will say, if you want to add comments and let me know what you think, like if this is something that's your style or maybe not your style, do you use a lot more layers? Do you use less layers. We'll put this one kind of right next to that instead of coming out. But down here, we'll have it coming out at the top. There. Now, I thought about using some punches and punching some extra vellum pieces, but once I decided to put the larger circle on there, I thought I don't need any other little vellum pieces on this page. This will be perfect just like this. I want to add this bigger one somewhere, and it may end up just being down in the corner or maybe up at the top in the corner. And we've got this smaller piece. You can see this smaller piece is actually a partial cutout of this. This was at the edge of the sheet of paper, so I just cut it out because I thought it would be good. Maybe I'll add that down here. We'll put this one up here for sure. I kind of like that up there. We may end up not die cutting, but fussy cutting a couple more of these just to add some extra pieces on here. Because I wasn't sure if I would even use all of these or any of them until you start layering it on, and then it's like, okay, that kind of looks good that way. I think I'll go with that. And maybe we'll add some rhinestones or other, maybe some gold sequins, because gold goes with this set really good. There is a little bit of gold in this paper right here too, or maybe that's pecan pie actually. It's pecan pie. But adding some little gold or copper would be nice. We'll just add that up in the corner. Now, I am not the best at, when I'm scrapbooking, getting a lot of layers, but I really like the way this is starting to turn out. So I might as well add a couple of these other ones on here. Hopefully I won't do too many and then you're like, a little much, Valerie. But I think it'll be all right, what I've got so far. Decide where I want to put this. Kind of right there. I think it looks good, and it covers up that little bit that you can see that adhesive through there. Not that that's a huge deal, because you know with vellum you're always most likely going to see the adhesive. Now you can do some glues where you brush it on and it dries more clear, and that's okay too, but I'm not doing that on this page. That just seems like a lot of work right now, and I don't want to do that. All right, we've got one more of these. We could add it in the center, or we could add, yeah, maybe we could add in the center and a floral piece. These smaller ones are just easier to pick up with my tool versus getting them stuck to my finger and trying to get them off. Don't get me wrong, I do it that way a lot of times. And then I'm fighting with them because they're stuck to my fingers. But I don't want to do that today. So I hope you're having a great day. I hope this gives you some inspiration. See, look at how that one just stuck to my finger and it's kind of pulling off. There we go. Oh my goodness. We'll add that one. We'll kind of lay it to the left a little bit. And then we'll put our floral piece just kind of here at the bottom. Well, that looks good, I think. We have one more floral piece that we could use. Let's hold off on that one until we figure out if there's a spot we want to put it. And I'm thinking Stampin' right here for the journaling will be good. I still think that should be okay. And I might be able to stamp it twice, and that'll give me some extra. Let's just stamp it here real quick. And then stamp again just to see. Yeah, I just need to come down a little bit further on that second stamping and it'll be good. And we'll just line it up with this line right here on the designer series paper. Now, you might not be able to see that very good, but I'll pull this up closer so you can see where the lines are now. So that'll give me some lines to journal on, and I'll do it in black so it'll show up. I'm not going to do the journaling right this second, but that'll give me that little bit right there, which I think is fantastic. I feel like I need something right here. So let's fussy cut. Let's fussy cut another one of these, which is this one right here. And then we'll add it over here to our circle. I think that'll be good. And then I want to say then we'll be done, but we'll see. Give me a second. Let me think through all of this. So if you want to create something like this, like I said, the circle die is 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. That is the largest circle die I could find. If you have found larger circle dies, mention it in the comments for me, because I would love to have some larger circle dies, because I have my electric die cut machine and I can fit larger dies in there, which is fantastic. So I could fit even an 8-inch circle die, which I think would be great for this. I don't have anything larger than that 5.75. And I just got that one, and I got it specifically for scrapbooking so I could make larger circles. Go around. So over here on this one, there's this little floral piece, and I cut it off on that one on accident. So it's going to be included on this one. I will just cut around it the best I can. And it'll be perfect. Right? No mistakes. We can fix anything. So like I said, I still use it even though I cut that piece off. It doesn't really matter. It looks good either way. We can add this down here maybe with the extra little flower next to it. Somehow. As I'm looking at it, I'm like, I don't know if it really goes with that. Grab the smaller dimensionals. And then let me see if one will fit. Oh, good. It will fit right there on that little floral piece. And then I need a larger one just for this flower. We'll put the larger piece down first, and then we'll decide if we still want that extra flower or not, because I haven't really decided yet. Not sure if I like the way it looks next to this, but we'll see in just a second. We'll kind of bring this down. We're just going to cover that little piece with this top pod here that's on this stem. And then we've got that extra little flower, which I don't know. I don't really like it with that, but we could add it. We could add it right here and pop it up, because there's that same exact print right there on that paper. So we'll just add it right there. So there you have it. I think that's, oh, do we want to add smile? Sorry, forgot all about, I think I do. I think it'll look cute right there. So let's just get a block. Now, a lot of people don't stamp with their scrapbooking, but I like to add little elements, and not on every page, But like, that's perfect. That smile is perfect because look at that toothy grin right there. I love it. Love it. Now, I think other than my journaling, I think I am done with this page. Until I remind myself that I could add some little things to it if I so choose. Let me see what I've got in here. But I don't necessarily think it needs it either. It does look cute the way it is. And I could leave it just like that. We've got these champagne ones. I don't think I want those. Got some gold pearls. Those are kind of cute. But I think I'm going to leave it. I think I am super happy with this page. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you got some tips, and maybe you've got some of this designer series paper and you can do something like this with some photos that you have. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you for watching. Bye.